I'm Joe Sykes. I'm with the Whipple House All-Stars. We're here at the legendary Pub Park. This week's episode of Wiff Talk. We're going to find out who are the hottest teams. We're going to take a look at some of the biggest plays from last week, and I'm going to teach these guys how to hit some home runs. Oh yeah! Let's get whiffing.
Step your game up.
Welcome into this week's edition of Wiff Talk here at legendary Pub Park. Tim Finnegan, Josh Giraldo, Alan Williams, and joining us this week's special guest, Joe Sykes.
Let's go, Joe.
A couple of weeks off from the action, but you finally got into the mix this past week, and what a week to come back. On a bye though, but still had a good time.
Didn't really have a good excuse to miss.
Married, y'all. Got married. Man, I've been wanting to be up on the stage right here with you guys since we started this. And I'm happy to be here. You know, first week back. Of course, 2 weeks off of wiffle ball is brutal for my morale, but I get to do this, and I think every one of us got here and just kind of had a sigh of relief and was like, oh, like,
highlight of our week.
Yeah, highlight of our week. Here we are. So yeah, I'm happy to be up here.
We got some guys having a pretty gnarly and intense game of Jenga in the background.
Yeah,
whatever.
Now, we had to strategically place Alan in between the two of y'all because in your absence, you know, the team hose monster might have done some damage whenever your team happened to be number one at the time.
Did you put the asterisks by that one? Because
I think it was strategic actually in the scheduling, whoever did that.
Yeah.
I don't know who's responsible for that.
For scheduling? Yeah.
Some tool bag probably out there, you know, with a computer sitting in his mom's basement.
Sure. Yeah. No,
but what a week that week 4
man.
was. I mean, you talk about the fireworks coming into it. I mean, the game of the week, you had the Cucumbas taking on Brew Crew. Brew Crew's still looking for their first victory, and did they ever get it? I mean, 6-4 came down to the final out. I mean, that's what you're looking for. Yeah. And probably, I have to check this, but the longest game of the season?
Probably
bottom
so.
of the fifth?
Yeah,
it
so
went
what
the whole way.
What happened was it got down to like, we had 2 minutes left going into the fourth inning.
Right, the bottom of the fourth.
Bottom of the fourth.
Yeah.
And they started the fifth, and there was like 1, 2, 3 outs.
So there was like I think it was like 30-something seconds.
30 seconds left.
We gotta not give
we
them
gotta
something.
finish
So
it, and then ended up.
Thank God we did, because it was awesome.
Yeah, bases loaded situation.
Yes.
Rachel Howell gets up there, all the pressure on her. I mean, she was already 2 hits on the night, ready to go, and one swing at the bat could have tied the game or won it.
Right. Yep. That's right.
Yep.
I think it was a team effort on both sides of the plate. I mean, people were fighting for home runs, fighting for ground balls. The pitching was you know, consistent.
Yeah.
And
Tyler was so good, and he could look. And Cucumbas, like I said, they've hit. I mean, what they scored 20-something runs that first week or something.
22, something like that.
But they're good, and they hit the ball. They did well, but they couldn't square. They just could not square anything up. Tyler mixed it up, had it all over the place. He was jacked out here. His intensity level was
he's
on
a great
another
personality.
planet, man.
He also had a home run.
Yeah,
I think that's what he did. Yeah,
home run.
but they played such good defense. You know, so they eliminated a lot of runners.
I'm glad you mentioned the defense because coming into the game of the week, this previous week, Cucumba is one of the hottest hitting teams, but also the lowest ERA out of anyone in the league entering this past week. That's why it was such a big win for Brew Crew, not just their first victory, but a statement against the top 6 team in the Cucumbas in that matchup. But talking about Brew Crew, I mean, let's give credit to the squad that's been moving personnel around to different positions in the first couple of weeks of the season, trying to figure out who they're going to be. And honestly, like in the preview, we were talking about who were the hottest teams that might have saved their season. Brew Crew, most definitely up there for one of the teams.
That's a momentum changer right there, for sure.
Half of their team is new this season. Yeah. So, I mean, they're just kind of figuring it out themselves on what to do on the wiffle ball field, because it's not like a typical baseball or softball game where, you know, you've been doing it your whole life, you know, you're used to this ball. No, man, you throw this thing and it curves 15 feet throwing it to first base. You learn not to throw those plays, you know what I mean? You just hold it, wait, a flip to second base is way easier with the wiffle ball. So I think they've kind of worked their defensive players out.
I also think what made it such a great matchup was Josh Elkins versus Tyler on the pitching duel.
Right, and so that was a big question that entire game.
Right.
You know, because everyone talks about, well, he is such a good pitcher. Didn't pitch a single pitch.
Nope.
It's crazy.
It was all Elkins
But
on the mound.
Elkins is pretty damn good.
He's good. And
Had a
it's
home
so
run
funny.
himself.
Well, now
he's pretty damn good.
we see how dangerous they can be now because you have two pitchers that can go inning. The next inning you're facing another good pitcher.
Yeah.
They're back.
Changing that eye level is
Yeah.
crazy.
And with the week before, was that their tie? They had a tie.
They tied us in
Yeah,
week 2.
that's right.
Yeah, they tied us week 2.
That sticks with you for the whole season.
Oh
does.
yeah, man. You can never flick that one off
No.
of you. It's always
right.
going to be there.
Hey, but we were talking about the
Little
toughest
kickstand off
schedules.
the
Team
side.
Hosemoss is probably one of the toughest, arguably, in the entire league, coming out of the gate in the first quarter.
That's right.
And now going into the next 8 games, building momentum towards the playoff berth.
You got most of your hard games out of the way. I mean, they're all going to be, a challenge, but the top of your schedule, I mean, the top 5 teams, I think you've already played most of them.
Played
you're
3 of them.
2-1
Yeah,
and 1.
Yeah.
You're winning right now.
Like I said, we talked about it last week, and I said you don't draw it up that way. Obviously, you'd like to be a little heavier on the win column than you are in the loss or tie. But look, going up against Off in the Woods, Kakambas, and Wiff House All Stars. Now, you can talk about
Come
that
on, man.
asterisk all you want, and it's okay. I'm the one that said put it
So
there.
I didn't even get to see the game. I didn't know anything about it, but I just found out Brooks picked up Brooks Bobinger from what's their team name?
San
Luis
Luis
Sluggers.
And he's an all-star player for sure.
Stud. I
Grew
mean,
up-
and that's what we talked about. It was like, look,
Right.
still got Matt Thomas,
Right.
3 home runs in that first
And he
game.
pitched the whole game,
He pitched
didn't
the
he?
whole game because Brooks couldn't pitch.
He could throw strikes.
Oh, he
That's-
threw a lot of strikes.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think he walked anybody there.
He's not the kind of guy that's got a Mike Coppersmith left arm, right arm,
Yeah.
nasty stuff, but
He just
Matt
doesn't
Thomas
do
is
it. He just
consistent.
doesn't
That's
pitch
right.
enough.
Yeah.
So, look, it wasn't. There was no walk in the park in that game. Y'all hit. We just look. Blake Nelson and Matt Thomas are 2 totally different.
That's true.
That's just
Yeah.
Plus not having you and Blake in the lineup,
Yep.
turning that over was huge.
Yeah.
But coming in this past week, we played well. Jamie, I think Jamie struck one of us out.
She was
I'm pretty
amazing.
sure she was
She
throwing
amazed me,
rockets up
honestly.
there. man.
She's an
Like,
athlete.
and we were just like, have you ever done this before? She goes, no, just give me the damn ball.
Yeah.
Okay. Scott just murdering us all.
Yeah.
And
So
then the
And then
defensive plays.
defensive plays.
Well, hang on now. Out of all the major plays of the night, and we've got the highlights throughout the show here on Wiff Talk, but the top 3 plays of the night, the play at home and the Cucumbas Brew Crew
that was
matchup,
crucial.
Jamie's dive and catch on defense,
And then Brooks
and then
Bobinger.
Brooks Bobinger
Wow.
on the money on
That
the
was
one
insane.
All
hopper.
in one motion.
That was
in one
insane. And to have those on video
Oh, it's so-
and to have them in
so
slow
good.
motion, I was sitting there. I probably watched all 3 of those videos 10 times.
Oh yeah, the one Jamie made. I just remember seeing the ball off Zach's bat, and it's one of those like when you kick a kickball wrong and it turns into a lemon.
Yeah.
It literally looked like the wiffle ball did that, and I was like, oh man, there's no way she catches it. And if she doesn't catch it, it's got so much spin, it's just gonna roll all the way back foul.
Yeah.
But what does she do? Just lays out.
Yeah.
Snags it and just
Full-
shakes
full
the
Camaro.
Matumbo finger at
Yeah,
Zach.
that's
Oh,
right.
No,
That's
no.
right.
It was awesome.
They're all really good, but the biggest impact had to be the Cucumbers.
The one at home?
The one at
Oh,
home.
dude, because
Game changer.
at, the
Yeah,
ti-
I
at
mean,
that time
it-
it was tied, I think.
Yeah.
And I think you had your GoPro right
I
on
was
home
sitting
plate.
on the plate.
I'm excited
Yeah.
to see
I
that
watched it.
video.
I watched it yesterday, and we're gonna get all that on.
Yeah.
But seeing Rachel step up when she literally says to the camera,
Yeah.
she says, "Y'all want to see this home run?"
Yeah.
Turns and hits the seed
Yeah.
right at the shortstop.
She
And
can hit
I'm
too.
still-
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
Rachel's one of the top girls as far
And
as
I'm sitting there holding the camera. They throw it to first. It hops in, safe at first. And Tyler is like jumping like a king. Throw it home. And the guy's, he's rounding third, and he just literally one hops the plate.
Right.
And as his foot's in the air, it
Right.
bounces up, hits him
And
right in the belly button.
Yeah.
And the
Perfect.
place goes bananas.
Yeah.
Us included.
Oh my,
Yeah.
oh my God. It was awesome. It was perfect.
And that goes back to Elkins and Tyler being the 2 highest energy players on each of their teams,
Oh, absolutely.
pitching against each other
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the game of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a matchup.
Look, be honest, man. Like we did not see that game going that way. We were talking about lines out there, you know, and everyone had Kakumba's big, and rightfully so. You had a team coming in 0-3, and Kakumba's in there 2-2 or 1-1-1, I think is what they were. Or 2-1, And so anyway, you
they were hot.
You're not.
Oh yeah, hey,
I can't remember what it was.
I got their message loud and clear.
But
you're good.
You just didn't expect it. And Brew Crew came out and they made every single play that they had. And it was so intense for a game of the week. I mean, him up here on the mic, there was so much action that everyone that was in the bar was out on the gate because
there
they could hear
so many people.
It was packed.
Yes,
it was absolutely packed.
We all sent a text to each other like that might have been our best week ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Second largest crowd since opening night.
I don't know. It may have been more.
I'll tell you this. I'll say this.
It was a championship vibe.
At one point, at any given point, while like that first week of crawfish and opening night, I think there was about an hour on opening night that there were more people than there were here last night, or Tuesday night. But I can tell you, I don't know if I've ever seen, other than the championship night, that I've ever seen that many people 8:30 and beyond. Because that last game, it was slammed.
There were a lot of people
There were
watching
so
the game.
many people out
Ooh,
here.
I can't wait to talk about that.
Crazy.
And we left here at 11 o'clock at night. When people weren't even close to closing out.
It's like, I'm going home. I'm going home. It's Tuesday, people.
Yeah. And you and Danielle look at each other and say, what did we say? We're not staying out late tonight? It's 11 o'clock.
It's only 11.
I'm having too much fun to leave.
Yeah.
And y'all talked about it every week, but the game of the week with the music and with Tim and what you bring to the table and the all the hype that goes into that game, it's just it builds the anticipation for that game so much, and that's what keeps drawing the crowd out here too. I think that has a lot to play with that.
Okay, there's a major game of the week coming up for Week 5 action. Coming up next here on Wiff Talk, where we get a preview of Week 5. Get with the Ball League. Let's get with it. Welcome back into Wiff Talk here at Legendary Pub Bar. Tim Finnegan, Josh Geraldo, Alan Williams, Joe Sykes, bringing you all the latest news and information that you need to know about America's favorite Wiffle Ball League. Guys, Week 4, we were talking about some of the big highlight plays happening, big victories, big performances by individuals that are getting better on a weekly basis that we're seeing before our eyes, and our own Alan Williams pitching a gem the first couple innings of his match.
Yeah,
that's right. That was the last game of last week. And going up against Off in the Woods is scary for anybody. But
I got hype.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing how you started the game. You said, you know what, we're not going to do long ball to figure out.
That's right.
We're flip cup.
Flip cup.
So
So
they did a six person flip cup challenge for home and away.
Y'all done that every
awesome.
season.
Y'all won
With them, we try to do something like that.
Y'all won it. So started it off on a good note.
Oh yeah, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "We want to bat first."
Yeah, absolutely.
They hate
victories
that.
every
We bat.
We
They
want to
hate
bat
that.
first.
And I'll tell you, that's part of Off in the Woods strategy for those listening. This is kind of an insider thing for y'all listening, is that Off in the Woods loves to hit first. Whether they win long ball or not, they're going to try to hit first. And you taking that from them, they came out, I think, 0 in the first inning.
Yep,
0.
6 in the first inning.
And you were throwing some of the best pitching that I've ever seen
You threw the whole
done.
game, yeah?
No.
He should have.
Only threw 2.
He should have. I'll argue that because
They
you
were
were pitching better than I've ever seen you pitch. and I'll be honest.
The second time, third time around,
ball that you've got going on right now is
it's dirty.
Yeah.
It's dirty.
Well,
I love it.
You have a pitch right now where you can throw a changeup without changing your arm speed.
Yeah.
And that's the changeup is whether it's baseball, softball, wiffle ball, whatever. The changeup's the nastiest pitch you got because it looks like a fastball, and if you can get people leaning and out front out here,
front of it,
lungers.
definitely.
Yeah.
I got caught twice. Just throwing that out there.
Say
I
it again.
got caught
Yeah.
twice.
How many times you said they're gonna lose this year?
Twice.
Oh, here we go. I mean, I'm not gonna say that.
No.
Now the defending champs are in the game of the week matchup in Week 5. Is that going to be the first of your 2 predictions?
I'm going with it. I'm
going with it?
I'm going with the outsiders.
The outsiders have an outside chance?
Yes.
Can they handle the pressure? Going into all that. They've had the spotlight on them, and we talked about this too before we got here. Is that off in the woods? You know what was your quote? If you're at the top of the mountain, it's hard to be knocked off.
Yeah.
And
it's hard to
stay up.
It's
It's
hard
hard
to
to
stay
stay on top of the mountain when you're up there. Spotlight's on them, and this just adds to the intensity.
A lot of pressure.
That's right.
But they've been in tons of pressure games out here. So
That
I mean,
game was so good, man.
Yeah.
That 9 o'clock game, it started a little late because we had so many good games during the night. That one started a little late, but I always love watching your team and their team play.
We have a lot
because
of
we have a lot of. It's like when we play, we always have a blast.
We're all friends
because they're all like some of our close friends.
Yeah,
you know,
we're all friends.
So it's always a good game, but. Everybody been drinking all night.
Oh,
man,
God. I kept asking DT, you want a shot?
game,
He was
man.
like, yeah. Yeah, I'll take a shot.
That's some impressive shot.
DT got called out on Facebook, I think, for the pregame battle over there. You've been training for this your entire life.
Oh, and he had the lead, man, and just squandered.
Yeah, so
Chris Proud
look,
coming in hot.
Just looking here, Christy Hare, 2 home runs. David Weaver, 1 home run. David Cramblett, 1 home run. Cobb, 1 home run. Dustin May,
all of those
first home run. Now, there's
all
one name. There's
in
one
the second,
name.
third inning,
There's
second
one name
inning.
I didn't call, and that's David Todd. No home runs.
No
home runs.
Where's he at it? Where's he at it?
He's not on this list.
Well, let's take a look at the home run leaders on playgetwithit.com.
That's right.
Where David Todd is.
He's right here, Todd.
If you click under league, go on
got
down
4.
to home run leaders.
David
So
Todd's got-
Joe Hernandez is still, Oppo Joe is still on top right now.
yeah.
I think
Didn't
he's
hit a
trailed
home
by-
run last week.
No, he
Still at the top.
He didn't, but Brooks,
Yeah,
I think
Brooks hit 3.
Brooks hit 3, so he's starting to get up that ladder a little bit.
Watch out for Brooks Bobinger, man. He's,
Oh, yeah.
I played baseball
That
with him.
sucker gets hot, man.
Oh,
Look,
he is,
and
he
we're
is a
talking.
flat-out athlete, and that slow-motion video shows.
And that's what I was about to go
exactly
to.
what
You
he's
want to
got.
talk about look, and Keith Kaiser is
Yes.
a wall of a defender.
Yep.
That's a rare moment for him to
That
drop
ball
one.
that was hit over his head.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an awkward angle,
Yeah.
and it literally just went off his fingertips, right down the line. Runner on second, rounds third. Brooks.
to just be there.
I mean,
for him
exactly.
to
For him
stand
to be backing him up on
he
such a
shouldn't even
lazy
been
fly
there.
ball.
Yeah.
For him to back up, go into defensive mode, catch it on one hop, and in the same motion, throw, catch the guy on the shoulder, trying to score.
I think what's
Man.
funny is you watch the rest of everybody's reaction to that. Also, like,
Yeah,
like-
my favorite was the guy that was coaching third.
Yes.
He throws it, and the guy goes,
Yeah.
Gets out of the way.
"You know what? It's so funny."
That's
But look,
impressive.
that was terminal illness that they played.
Yeah.
Listen, that team, you said it
Yep.
twice the other night. They are this close.
They're that close.
from being like in that top tier. They are really, really good, and they're getting better.
Yep.
Robert Kelly with a home run for their team too. They put up 5 runs against a really tough team.
Also was
Also,
rolling. You know, he was back in awesome form.
He was.
You know.
we call him Big Sweat. He looks good this season. Looks like he's been working out.
Yeah.
Look how trim he is.
He got
He
no
looks
scrub,
good.
but he still sweats
he's
twice
still-
as
oh my
much.
God.
He sweats more than anybody out here. That's why we call him Big Sweat.
It's so funny watching him pitch too, because if you were able to like,
Damn.
if this was like slow pitch softball where you could like directionally hit, you could eat him alive, because when he pitches, he falls off the
he's
mound
standing
like
on
Oh,
first
yeah.
base.
you know.
Always moving over to third on every pitch.
Yeah, you know,
On every
and
pitch.
there's no reason to have a third baseman with him. It's just so funny, but he's such a good pitcher. You know, you're just trying to make contact.
He'll do a lot of stuff. He'll turn his body around completely, or he'll be looking at somebody in the crowd and throw a pitch.
He hides it well. Yeah, his antics.
back.
His antics
Yeah.
are a lot to do with
Behind
his
the back
success.
pitches, stuff like that. He mixes it up. He's fun to watch on the mound.
We're only into the second quarter of the season, and
Yeah.
so there's plenty of time for teams to catch some fire, get into the top 6, and it all starts with all the matchups happening this week. Game of the week in Week 5, Outsiders taking on Off in the Woods. A really telling time for the Outsiders because they have an opportunity to get back into the top 6
Yep.
in the playoff hunt right now. The loss last week pushed them out of it, and now they've got an opportunity on the biggest stage to rebound and get back into that top tier.
Yeah, and speaking of great games last week, the Outsiders game,
3-0.
man.
Outfield
that's
alcoholics.
the outfield alcoholics.
Yeah.
Look, let's give credit where it's due. Nathan Burrows threw a gem in that game. I think he only gave up like 3 or 4 hits.
He really did. He got in a groove.
Yeah, and look, the outsiders are still figuring it out. They're still figuring out their swings and defensively and stuff like that. They've got a lot of people. Look, they had bleachers going over here. You know, they had chairs propped up. They had a whole entourage. They always it's awesome.
Parents
it's
and grandparents, it looked like. I mean,
but
they were,
look, Outfield Alcoholics, they've got a team loaded with guys that can smash a wiffle ball.
Yeah.
And Jason Fody limited them to 3 runs.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we had to warn Fody
He got hot
about
again
6 or 7 times about his speed. He got excited, but I'm going to go on record right now saying I've never seen a wiffle ball from that distance. When he started to slow himself down, I've never seen one move that far.
Oh yeah.
Never seen one break that.
He's
far
a really good
Fody
pitcher.
did.
I think
Really,
he
had
enjoys
him.
pitching probably
Oh, my
more
God.
than any other.
Oh yeah.
I tried to like goof around with him like during the game.
Oh, he's
Ain't
serious,
happening,
man.
bro. No, he's so
What?
serious.
Do it.
Just,
Yeah.
there it is. That was it.
Yeah.
He's all smiles and he's
Yeah.
You know?
He gets locked in.
face off.
Locked in, man.
Pitchers
He
go
does.
on Tuesday.
It could be. Look,
I'm telling you.
Fody versus Kyle.
And the problem is, as an umpire, also, I have to tell him to slow it down a lot. But it's not every pitch.
It's not.
He strategically uses a speed pitch.
I think I only saw one time that night that he threw that like underhand
Yeah.
inside out thing.
Yeah.
And then he never
Screwball.
went back to it.
No.
You know? He just kind of, it's almost like he gets up there and he goes, like in mid motion, screw it, I'll do this.
Right.
Like, he doesn't have a plan.
For somebody's first season out here, I doubt he's played wiffle ball in 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, or more. But he comes out, he's got a natural ability to know how this thing works. And that goes back to, like, we were talking about it earlier. You can't just
Yes.
grab this ball and throw it
No.
and try to, like, spin it. It's a lot about using these holes.
Using the
strategically.
grooves.
Look,
Using the grooves.
and
strategically.
what we haven't talked about yet, last week we talked about a lot of our girls in this league, how good they are. The Outsiders girl, Ellen Corley, hit 3 misses yesterday.
Yeah.
Now she got called out at first. I had to ring her up because she didn't run through first one time, and she was, but she hit 3 absolute scuds.
And made a great play at second base here. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, look, that game. Obviously, we know what Arthur Woods is, and we know what they're coming with. This is Outsiders' first time ever seeing them, so they're going to get a good look at a really good team.
And what did we label it? The siblings matchup?
Sibling
that was a
showdown.
good-
Sibling
That
showdown.
was awesome. Yeah.
That was a really good promo.
Hey, it's only the first of many coming. First of many coming. We got some
It's
more
gonna be a
coming on
good- that's-
Facebook,
that's
Twitter,
gonna be a really
and
good
Instagram.
That's right.
At O'Daly's Get With It.
Yep.
That is going to be a really good matchup. I'm so excited for this week's matchups. For sure.
I am too.
Another great matchup, talking about top-tier teams. Outfield Alcoholics getting tested with a couple of their key players being absent, but they're going to have to take on the likes of Jordan Watson and Charlie Spencer
Ooh,
this
that's
week.
going to be a good one. What
That's-
time is that one?
Next week.
Yeah, next week is right there. It's the 8:45.
Ooh, man.
It's a good time slot.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good.
Right after the game of the
That's
week, so
gonna
you're
be
going to
a
want to
good
stick around for that one.
Charlie's got a lot to prove too. He came out hot with those hot 4 home runs.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
Still has 4, doesn't he?
He's been silent since.
He's been silent
Did
since.
the pressure get him?
well, look, he's been
I don't
home
know.
run silence.
Yeah.
He's still
hitting the
crushing
ball.
them.
After
still
the
hitting
game
the
of the
ball.
week, you know, they got a little rattled and all that. The bright lights
Hype,
aren't for
man.
everybody. The
Might have
bright
got
lights
him.
aren't
I
for
don't know.
everybody.
Might have got him.
Try that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys play Brew Crew, man. They're probably going to come in pretty hot with that, Joe.
Who we got? We
that's-
got
You
Brew
got
Crew.
Brew
I'll
Crew
have
this
Brew
week.
Crew.
The
I'm
second
competing against
game.
Tyler.
Tyler, I'll tell you what, Tyler and I have like a forever rivalry. Like this is actually, I met Tyler here in wiffle ball, and we talk about that. And I think Danielle in last episode talked about how many relationships have been built here at Pub Park. Tyler's one person for me who I met out here, and every time I see him, we're always talking about wiffle ball, and I'm looking forward to that matchup next week. I'm looking forward to planning it. This will be my first time back in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
3 weeks, really, yeah.
And Haley and I both are ready to get back on the field, and we'll have our Haley Sykes. That's right. And I think
The
that
debut.
she should have some extra power and some other things that come along with having that ring and everything.
Yeah.
You think he's still got some power?
Who, me?
Oh yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Let's take the field and let's see if he still got it.
I'll teach you guys a little thing or two about it. I'll tell you.
Coming up next here on Wiff Talk.
Welcome back to Wiff Talk. We're here with Joe Sykes, and he's going to teach us the art of hitting a home run. What you got for us, Joe?
Art. Y'all put it on me, so I'm happy to share some of my techniques over the past couple years I've been playing out here at Puff Park, and we got a lot of good hitters out here. A lot of the best hitters have been playing here long enough to know what works, and it's not about the best swing, the biggest swing. It's about hitting the ball strategically and knowing how far and how hard you got to hit it. And it's all, to me, honestly, it's about getting the right pitch. And so it all breaks down to getting the right pitch. But
we've seen some goofy pitches get out of here.
We've seen a lot of goofy pitches out here, and some of the people have 5 or 6 home runs a season that look like this.
Oh yeah,
and
they're up here. Tommy Hawk.
And Oppo Joe Hernandez.
Oh yeah, with that closed stance.
He's figured out that it's pretty easy to hit it into those trees right there and get it over that wall. Yep. And again, it goes to getting the right pitch to hit. A lot of people try to get it on the outside of the plate. A lot of the ball, a lot of it is letting that ball travel, where Joe, all he's doing is putting the bat on it, facing that way, and it's all in your hands. I've seen a lot of guys out here, they take a full hack at it, and they're swinging at the ball.
Overswinging.
Yep.
Overswinging. And what I try to preach to my team, at least, is that you don't swing at any of these balls, you hit the ball. And it's a lot of...
That sounds very basic,
right.
But there's a premise to what
right.
you're saying.
There's a premise to it, that's right. And it's a lot to do with being slow with your body and being fast with your hands.
Yeah.
And it's just throwing your hands.
It's a wiffle ball. Look, at the end of the day, it's not a baseball. This thing's coming in
That's right.
in cursive sometimes.
It really
so
is.
What you say with you're not swinging at the ball, because when you have a baseball or softball swing, it's a very practiced and strategic swing that you have, and you swing long out here.
And you want to
these
hit
balls
through the zone where that necessarily
it's not going to work.
It's not a wiffle ball.
So you're actually attacking the ball out front, trying to hit the ball instead of making a full swing.
What I was telling Sneed the other day is that I'm not hitting balls here. I'm hitting balls here.
Right.
And so if it could be here, it could be here.
Yeah.
But I'm not waiting for a strike here. I'm waiting for something that I can hit out here.
Right.
And you have to attack the ball out here.
Love it. All right, guys, thank y'all for joining us on this week's edition of Wiff Talk. Please join us this week on Tuesday night starting at 6:30 at legendary Puff Park for Week 5 action. Let's get with it.